To our exclusive Look Ma No Hands interview with John Krafcik, the CEO of Waymo yesterday. Guys, it was a major hit with you. Thousands and thousands of you tweeted during our history-making live ride-along in the fully autonomous ride-hail service. But after our show wrapped, we took an even longer, more complicated route in Chandler, Arizona, and I asked John Krafcik about the competitive landscape and if he plans on being an Uber-Lyft killer. Back to the competitive landscape here.
Yeah.
The Chinese,
yeah,
they're doing it.
Yeah.
A company called Pony.ai. You've got Baidu, Uber, Lyft,
dozens
Tesla.
of companies.
They're everybody. Daimler-Benz just bought Torque Robotics.
Yeah.
They want to do trucking.
That's right.
I know
We're
you guys do too.
very interested in trucking as well.
I know.
That's right.
How are you going to beat them?
Well, I think one of the great things we've learned about the Waymo driver is it can drive a minivan, it can drive a Lexus, it can drive a Prius, and we've demonstrated it can drive a Class 8 Peterbilt truck as well, Liz. So we're able to take the same sensing and the same compute and just put it in a truck with very little change, and it can drive very, very safely for the world. So that's a big part of our idea in terms of extending our business, is to drive many other vehicle platforms and transportation modes. So heavy trucks coming soon.
You were the CEO of Hyundai.
That's when we first met.
That's right. The South Korean auto giant. You are a competitive guy.
Yeah.
You want to kill some of these competitors, don't you?
Honestly, I see us more as enablers, not disruptors. We're not a car company. We're a company that's building drivers. We think we have a really good driver, and I think we can partner with all sorts of companies to bring that driver to the world.
No, they want to kill somebody. I'm sure Gene Munster to beat everybody out there who's trying to do the same thing. Gene, of course, is with Loup Ventures, top tech analyst, and you've been following the autonomous wave and how to invest in it. What did you think of the Waymo CEO and what he was talking about? I tell you, I thought it was a fascinating experience. And there was a test driver in the front seat, but she never touched the wheel the whole time.
Yeah, incredible access that you're getting, Liz. I'm envious for sure. That is the future. And he talks about not being disruptive, but being partnering with it. And I agree with your perspective, is that this company, Waymo, is a force of disruption. One of the reasons is that an undeniable truth is twofold when it comes to transportation. Vehicles will be electric in the future, and then in the more distant future, they will be autonomous. And yes, that companies like Waymo can partner with other people, but if you look at the value that they're going to capture, because that's the real essence, this autonomous aspect of it, that value capture piece, I think, is most important. Said a slightly different way is that companies like Waymo, and you mentioned Baidu with their Apollo initiative, yes, they will partner with people, but the economics will shift from the traditional auto OEMs over to players like Baidu and Google Waymo, and I think Tesla has an opportunity there as well.
Okay, so you see this as a real competitive opportunity. Lyft at the moment had gone public last week. It's up about 3.5%. And I think to myself, at Tesla, April 19th, and I know you know this, Elon Musk is going to have an investor day, and he's focusing solely on the fully, I think it's called the FSD, their automated driving segment. He's going forward with this as well. Is there a way to invest that you feel is the right path? Is it simply, let me buy Google Alphabet?
I think Google's a great way to do it. I would caution that this theme around autonomy, I mentioned, is an undeniable truth that's in the distant. And so there can be some hype that's built in the near term, and I think that it will take longer in the near term. I don't think we're going to see, despite your incredible experience, I don't think that that's going to be something available to everyone everywhere in the U.S. for probably closer to 10 years. But to answer your question is, how do you play this from a public standpoint? It is owning companies like Google and Baidu and Tesla. I think it's very straightforward. And in the case of really all three of those companies, even though the autonomy piece is nascent at best, I think they will attract investor attention over the next few years. And we're just scratching the surface around the significance of what autonomous is. Simply put, Liz, let me just put it in a slightly different light, is that humans should not drive. Humans tend to be good drivers when they concentrate, but that's becoming progressively more difficult. And I think that there are many benefits to this autonomy that are undeniable.
Gene Munster, you're right, and the numbers prove that out, that distracted driving is killing more people these days than you can even imagine. I'll put in a good word for you with John Krafcik, see if he'll give you a ride along. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
I got
Liz.
your back. Watch our complete post-interview show inside the Waymo self-driving car. It was more complicated, went for about 15 minutes. CEO John Krafcik and I talked about way more things than we did, way more than we did yesterday, but all kinds of scenarios, drunk driving, animals in the road, etc.